it was like normal.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be walking along the street and someone would shout, "Come here," and I'd feel my hair and say, "Oh, say little gollywog," and kick me up the backside when I was little. And then when I got bigger, they'd say, "Hey, Nick," and all this kind of stuff. My name's Sully Alaji, and I was in the Falklands War in 1982, and this is my story about that. I was born in Newcastle, and there was a lot of racism, and I had no mentor. I was making mistakes, I was getting into trouble, and I knew I had to do something drastic. Otherwise I'd stay in Newcastle, I'd probably end up on drugs, an alcoholic, you know, in jail, whatever. So I needed to get out of there, get away from that toxic environment. So I joined the army, I joined the parachute regiment, and I needed a challenge, a real challenge, and this was it, because to get through basic training in the parachute regiment is really hard. 67 started and only 11 of us got through.
Wow. How old were you?
I was 18. Didn't have any direction, didn't have a father figure, because my dad was Nigerian and he brought his Nigerian disciplinary methods to this country, which meant that we got hit a lot. You know,
Right,
I got knocked out once when I was a child. Yeah, it was horrific. So I just needed to get away from that environment. Initially, because of the racial discrimination I endured, and I didn't realise I was dyslexic either until I was 40. So I couldn't respond effectively to the racists. And I remember when I was a child, I made a decision. I said I can't speak properly. I was getting chased by people, and then I got to the point where I got beat up so much, I learned how to fight properly. I wouldn't stand for it, you know, I was fed up with it. I joined the army in 78, and the whole country was what I'd call institutionally racist. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that everybody's a racist. It just means that that behaviour is allowed to carry on without being checked. Yeah. So people get confused and they think, oh, everybody's racist. It's not. It's just that people don't say, hey, yeah, it's tolerated. So when I first got to the depot where we did the basic training, I'd already been in the cadets and the reserves, so I knew how to soldier. I was fit, and I was a class A student basically, but I was black, and that was my handicap, because I was a corporal from another platoon, and every time I marched across the square to go to the cookhouse, I'd hear the window open and he'd shout. So I'd come to attention because I'm the only black person there, and there's officers walking around, sergeants, you know, no one cared. And he shouted, "I'm going to get you back squatted," which means moved out of my platoon into his platoon, then I'm going to f*** off you. And he'd say that every time he saw me, and I just thought, what a dickhead. But corporals in the training environment are like demigods, and you know, if I had hit him, I would have been kicked out.
Yeah.
And I had my eyes on the bigger picture of being a paratrooper.